Hi, I'm Kathy. I'm from Canada, and I'm making this movie interviewed by Keely, who's on the phone with me.
Hi there.
She's going to be, there she is, wave Keely. And she's in Philadelphia, and she's a long-time Munich master, and she helped develop all the lessons that you see in the Webb College and in the Cure Drive.
I'm going to interview Kathy after this video, and we're going to talk about what it was like for her to teach her son how to cure things. This is going to be the first part of that.
Yes.
Yep. And we're hoping that you'll be able to take away a lot of good stuff from this, and that you'll be able to impart to your own kids.
I was, okay, Keely, take it away.
Okay. So the thing I always remember you saying is Liam drove me to a Munich. So say a little bit about that, like what his health was like before, before you discovered you could cure him and he could cure himself.
I'm like a lot of moms where you have this kid and then your life changes, and then all of a sudden they get sick. I mean, you're scared enough just having the kid, and there's so much paranoia no one wants to talk about, and then they get sick, and then you're pretty much faced with Tylenol or penicillin from the doctors. I mean, they do a lot of good, and they've saved a lot of kids' lives, but the basic day-to-day viruses, the things that kids pick up constantly, I just was really looking for something. I'm thinking there has to be something else, and he was like every kid. He'd pick up everything that came along. He'd get screaming high fevers. I knew a lot about health, so and I went to homeopath, and that really, really helped. But then when I found this and started working on myself and learning it.
How long had you been learning it before you saw that you could, that you could actually do things for him? Like, when did you discover that, or how did you discover it? Was it by accident?
No, actually, I probably started, I think I cleared a cold really quickly in me. And then when he picked up something, I just started working on him. Because I read at the Red
cold.
Yeah, he started, get cranky and the sniffles and coughing. He'd usually start with a sore throat or get a fever. And so I'd go through it, the bodies and test and remove. Just like I would.
You were doing that for him, like you would test his bodies to see if something was there and remove it when you found it?
Yeah, he was only 2.5. And I had some great successes right away, and I watched things go in 45 minutes, so I sort of knew that, something was going on, that this was really working.
You said you watched things go in 45 minutes. You mean you would see symptoms disappear?
Yeah, really quickly.
So you would remove something, and 45 minutes later the symptoms were gone?
Yeah. And the better I got at it with myself, the more I did on myself, the more I did on Liam, the more successful I got with Liam. I started to realize that if he did get something in his physical body, like a virus, I could get it out in 24 hours in the beginning. But as we know when we do this, the symptoms aren't always in the physical body. You're seeing symptoms, but they're not in the physical, and then we could move them in about 45 minutes. I could remove them.
So this was when he was 2.5. So at what point did you start to see that you wanted him to do it for himself, or that he needed to do it for himself? How old was he approximately, and why did that happen? Do you remember if you had a realization, or what made you think something had to change?
Well, I stupidly did it out loud for him once, and he's looking at me, "Don't do that," like 3-year-olds can get.
What did you say?
I did it for him out loud. "Liam, I'm going to remove this virus from your what?" And he says, "No, don't do that to me."
He is very smart. We always tell people not to tell other people we're healing them.
So eventually, I said, "Well, you can do this for yourself." So I think around 4, I started to see that he needed to do it, because sometimes I'd be up all night doing it on him because his fevers were so scary, or if it was something like bacteria, which is a little harder to get rid of.
Did he always get well when you removed things for him?
For the most time, if I was really clear and testing properly, yeah. Sometimes I know a lot about health and what not to give them when they're sick, and what to give them when they're sick. So I would do everything.
Right.
Homeopathy, vitamins, herbs, the Munichs. I mean, I just attacked it.
Right.
I went to war. And usually, you know, if he got something, it was gone twice as fast. What I noticed right away, the kids get sick and then they get this 2-week snot fest, you know, and that just disappeared. It'd be, you know, it'd be a few days and then he'd be well.
I have another question. At any time when you were removing things for him, did he ever say that there was a difference in him, even though he didn't know you were doing anything? Did he ever feel anything like immediately when you were removing?
Well, I'd watch him all of a sudden just jump up and he'd be on his way, you know, like he wasn't even sick at all. Yeah. I mean, it's the more I did it, the more I began to understand it. It's just the more I did it on myself, the better I got at doing it on him. And then, I don't know, it's hard to do someone's Immunix for them, so I just started, I think about 4, he started to become, in the kitchen one time, I remember him, I said, well, how about, you know, I teach you this. And his eyes just getting...
What did he have that you said that? What was
I don't think he had anything. I was just teaching him to test, which is actually a great idea now that I say it. Don't teach them when they're sick, maybe when they're not, because they get really resistant.
That's great. Yeah, I agree with you.
So I ended up, I remembered he had his little hand hanging over the chair, and I said, how about, you know, saying this? And his finger moved and his eyes got really big.
What did you have him say?
I'm now connecting to my ability to control my immune system.
I'm now connecting to my ability to control my immune system.
So he'd say that. And then he'd get sick. Then I'd ask him to do it. And a lot of times he was resistant at that age.
Did he get a signal on his finger?
Yeah.
He got a signal right away?
Right away, yeah.
Right.
Right away. It's probably in the last year or 2 where he's really, really doing well with it. And he... I think he had 1 bacterial infection in his chest this winter that came around, and that he gets like 1 thing a year now, maybe.
Did he ever have any problems getting signals?
No.
Never did?
Oh, actually, you know what? He'd get switched like the rest of us, and I just tell him to name what he wants.
So when he couldn't get a signal, if he got switched, you asked him what he wanted.
I asked him, yeah,
what he wanted, and he went unswitched.
Yeah, I asked him what he would want, and they love that because I say anything like, you know, I want all the Lego in the world, or he says,
right.
I want all the chocolate.
We can learn how to do that as kids.
Yeah, and immediately he'd get a signal again, and he'd be fine.
Does he ever talk about like how he feels different when he removes something? Does he ever say anything about that?
I think
we're going to have a movie with him, and we'll
I think the biggest thing with Liam that I did notice was about 4 months ago. I was teaching about dimensions, and I said, go to your highest dimension, try to get to the 144th. And we were at night. It was nighttime. It was dark. I was lying in bed with him, and before he went to sleep, and he did that, and I said, well, what was that like? And he says, Mommy, I can't stop smiling. So anytime I'm grumpy, he tells me to go to my highest dimension.